welcome to the Soul Space Podcast with Georgia Rose and Stephanie Calinoff tonight. Stephanie's one of my very good friends. And all this month of February, we are going to be talking about how love is eternal and how many of my friends and acquaintances and people out there who watch the Soul Space have had signs and messages from their past loved ones. And I want all of you to understand that love is eternal and we can have messages from our loved ones across the realms. So you guys who watch me often know the drill. I am going to share the show. And if you're out there at home watching or in your car or wherever you are on your phone.
You shouldn't be on your phone in the car, just so you know.
That's true.
All right.
Well, wherever you are, make sure that you're sharing the show so that we get a bunch of people on tonight because I really would love to have you all join us. All right? So we're live in Paradise Studios in Massapequa, New York, one of my favorite places. I get to come here every Monday night at 7 o'clock for my show. And what else can I say? We've got Stephanie in the house. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the astrology, and then we're going to talk about Stephanie's messages and everything that she gets. And I'm going to keep sharing this so you guys will see me wherever you go. You're just going to see the Soul Space Podcast on everywhere. Messed that up. Stephanie was laughing because it's like total mayhem around here before the show starts every week. So
This place, though, is super cool, I have to say.
Tell them about it.
I walked in here, it's like a candy land for anyone who likes to do podcasting. I'm totally hooked. I'm going to start my own show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are we going to call it? Coffee with Calinoff.
Exactly.
You can see Stephanie's Coffee with Calinoff on her Facebook pages. Tell them where to find you, Steph.
Oh, Instagram, basically, Facebook.
Everywhere.
I'm not that famous, so don't worry. You don't have to follow me.
So Stephanie and I know each other from the real estate world because you guys know I'm a real estate broker, and so is Stephanie. Stephanie is celebrating her 40th anniversary this year. I know she started when she was 5, and I started when I was 5 also. I'm celebrating my 30th. So you're a little older than me.
I am older than you. It's okay.
Oh, it's okay. We love each other, though. I would play with you if I knew you when I was in the sandbox.
Exactly.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the astrology. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we have so much fun here at Soul Space Podcast in the studio. We do astrology, we have guests, we do spiritual stuff. I am a psychic astrologer, which means that for me, the astrology chart is a gateway to another portal. And I can read a chart based on my intuition, and also I believe it's your soul contract in the world. So if you want a reading, you can find me on zenkuda.com. I do readings. And so this week, we've got some energy coming in with some planets moving around a little bit like they usually do. But today, February 4th, Venus is in Pisces. Venus is in Pisces now. It's going into Aries. So Venus will be changing into a fire sign. And Venus is the planet of everything we love and value. It's how we form our belief systems and value in the world. So Venus going into Aries is a fire sign. So that can make us a little hot-blooded, which is good for Valentine's Day, right? We got a little passion in the works. And also today we've got Neptune in Pisces still, which is great for our dreams. So if you've been dreaming a lot, that is why. I'm going to tell you that Mars is also going direct this month. So this month is a very fiery month. But if you want more about the astrology, you can tune in to my YouTube channel, Zenkuda, and you'll find a lot of videos there about astrology. I'll be doing one later in the week just for this week's astrology. But what were the highlights I wanted to talk about? Very good weekend coming up between the 7th and 9th to get things organized and get things done. Just watch your words because we have some things going on with the planet Mercury. But if you've got stuff that you have been wanting to pursue, you've been kind of dreaming about, imagining about, this weekend's the weekend to do it. So whatever you've been putting off, Steph, get to it Saturday and Sunday. You're on it. Okay. So one of the things that we do in the Soul Space is beginning in January 2025, I started to do affirmations every week. And then at the end of the month, or whenever the full or new moon is, those affirmations can be used as part of a ritual. So I'm going to have Carmine run our little promo for this week's affirmation. Go ahead, Carmine.
Any music?
So this week's affirmation, guys, is doors to truth and love are opening for me. And the reason why I picked that is because we have a lot of Pisces energy out and about in the world today. And so as a result of that, sometimes it's hard for us to know what's true and what's not true. So you can put me back on camera. Thanks, guys. So it's hard to know what's true and what's not true. Like even today, one of the things that I like to do with events in the world, I try not to get entangled in them. I'll listen to the news for a few minutes every day just so I know what's going on. But I don't really get entangled in that. I like to live internally. But one of the things I like to do is not just watch one newscast that's of one political affiliation. I like to swap around the channels so I get like kind of a whole thing. And the things that you hear are so opposing, such opposing views, it's hard to know what's true and what's not true. So we should always be using our intuition. So our first affirmation for this month, doors to truth and love are opening for me, is the affirmation I chose to help us ground in our own truth and our own intuition. And that brings us to the topic of today's show. So it's my belief, and has been my belief for many years because of certain experiences that I had after my mom and dad died, which actually was the start, in a way, of some of my spiritual work, that love is eternal. And your intuition tells you that, because I hear all the time from people whose parents or loved one or someone has passed on that's been important to them, and they still feel them, and they still hear from them, and they still get signs from them. So it's my belief that love transcends the realm. Love does not stop just because someone's not here on earth. It continues. And I always feel that if someone is what we call in heaven or in another place that's a paradise, if they loved us on this earth, think about how much they must love us in paradise, right? Because everything is so perfect there. I always think about, like, sometimes we'll hear a beautiful piece of music and we'll think about, my God, it's just so unbelievably beautiful. Can you imagine what the music sounds like on the other side in paradise or in heaven? So their love is so strong in that perfect place that we can feel it. And so that's where our Stephanie comes in tonight on the show, because when Stephanie's mom died, she started to have some really big stuff happen.
Incredible. Incredible.
And it was so funny because I knew that you were in grief, really, but it was almost like your mom was comforting you. And I know you have some experiences with your dad, too, but your mom just seems like such a big force.
My father moved over a little so she could come shining through. She probably was like, it's my turn. I'll take care of her. So
we all, even though I really never knew Stephanie's mom, we affectionately refer to her as Mama C.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And everybody, she has people who love her that have never met her just from your stories.
It's so incredible, really. The love my mom and I had for each other has transcended to my friends. Like,
Yeah.
people have, I get messages every day from friends, from you, from anyone, that something that strikes them that reminds me of me and my mom to them. And I feel like that's a way my mom is also shining through.
Yeah.
You know, like that my friends are reminding me, here's a little message from your mom.
But I feel like it's always kind of lighthearted, you know? Like I
Without
feel
a
like
doubt.
it started, talk about the song, because I feel like it started with a song that you had very importantly at your mom's memorial.
Yeah, my mom actually, we had a song together, Sugar Sugar. And
Younger people won't remember it, but it's a song. It was by the Archies.
Right, the Archies.
In like the early 70s, I think it was.
Actually, more people know it than don't know, which is really crazy, because people, they'll be in the diner and send me a message, your mom's song, you and your mom's song is on. I'm like, it's so crazy that more and more comes out.
And I just love that her spirit was able to expand love like that from the other side.
Yeah.
You know?
The truth is, my mom and I had such a connection in this world we live, right? That I would go to her house, and when I wasn't living with her, and I would walk in and she's like, I love your blouse. And she'd be wearing the same blouse I'm wearing in a different color.
Wow.
It was just, or I'd walk in with something in the house and she said, you got the message. I go, what message? She goes, I was thinking, don't forget to pick up the bread. You know, something like that. And so I just felt like we had such a connection here that it has carried over.
It was because it's like my dad was like that. My dad was the type of person that when he walked in the room when he was living, the whole room changed. He had such a big soul, you know, like just a big presence. And I feel like your mom was like that, so it carries over.
Absolutely.
You know?
She does not want me to. She always said she was never going to leave me. She made it very clear, I'm never leaving you. And so I'm like thinking, all right, she's going to be 102, I'm going to be 82, and, we're still going to go to the casino.
She's still here.
She's still at the casino with me.
So I want you to talk about the casino, but first let's say hi to a few people. We've got Nancy Adamsky on. Hey, Nancy, how are you doing? Glad you found us tonight. Cheryl's there. Cheryl, we love you. You're always on. Michelle Allen's here. Jean Paradis. We've got Lydia. Hey, Lydia, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Patty Sharika's on. We got a whole bunch of people on tonight, so that's great. So obviously everybody's interested in Mama C.
Well, we got Lydia Phoebus, who is one of my best friends and truly took great care of me and my mama. Mm-hmm. So she was dyeing her hair tonight. I probably shouldn't say that, but she made it in time.
It's all natural.
I
don't call it dyeing our hair. I call it enhancing.
Sorry, Lydia. I gave
up
your
secret.
secret.
I'm going to get enhanced. You ladies can steal that. Right. So I want you to tell us about the pigs, but I guess you got to start the story out about the casino to get to the pigs.
Yeah.
So wait till you hear this, guys.
My mom had a love for Jake's Casino, any casino, really.
We have this, for those of you, because we have people who watch from Australia. Right. So we have a casino that's like a legal casino here in our state, but it's not like you see in Vegas. It's more electronic. But it's like this huge casino place, and it's called Jake's 58. It's out on the highway, and it's a pretty cool place.
Yeah. Well, my mom, she was always very open-minded, but at 16 years old, she let me get fake ID so I'd go with her to the casino in Atlantic City. So we used to take bus trips. Then she would always pray that we'd get snowed in there. And then they opened the casino right around the corner. Seriously, 8 minutes from her home. She timed it. So my mom loved it, and it was my pleasure that it gave her something to do. In her 80s, your life changes.
Yeah, right.
And so it was
like a sport.
It was. We both loved it. I'm not going to lie about that.
And she's very lucky.
Yeah. Well, my mom, the year before she passed away, hit for a very big jackpot on a pig machine. She loved her pig machine. She was so well known in the casino that if anyone was playing her machine and she walked up, and they would get up and move over. I'm not, seriously.
So now why do you call it the pig machine?
Because it was, you get the...
When the things come up.
Right, you get a big pig.
Like you get 3 cherries, this was 3 pigs.
Right, so it wasn't called the pig machine, but the main character on the machine is a pig.
Right, every machine has a theme when you go to a casino. You guys know. I know you were all gamblers.
Right. So basically, my mom won a big jackpot for $32,000 to be exact.
No, don't say the number, the IRS will call.
Oh, I already paid the bill, don't worry.
A couple of years ago.
They took the money right on the spot, and... truthfully, Georgia always says that those machines are my, portal.
I told Stephanie, if you ever watch the movie Big with, is it Big? No.
Yeah.
With Tom Hanks. It's an older movie. But it all started, I think it was Big. It all started with, he was at Coney Island, and there was this, machine, a game, and that became a portal to, him becoming a kid. Right. And I say the pig machine is the portal to her mom, right. like in the movie Big. So,
but after my mom died, actually Lydia found these little pigs on Amazon. Someone got it for her. They knew the significance of my mom's love for that machine, and so I ordered them on Amazon, and I wrote on the bottom it says Mama C, and I give them out to people. It's just something that brings back, that I get a chance to talk about my mom. And
it's your way of keeping her essence alive.
Absolutely.
Right, her spirit.
And a few weeks ago, I give it to clients of mine also. And a few weeks ago, I gave it to a client of mine. I was out east showing a house, and I told them the story about my mom winning a big jackpot. I gave them a pig, and they were so happy. And I got in the car, and something was calling me back to Jake's. So I got in the car, and...
It doesn't take much to call you to
It really doesn't. I thought it was my mother, but it might be something else.
Yeah.
So I got there, and all the machines were taken. And I said, I'm going to wait a few minutes. Someone got up, sat down, and shortly after that, I won a big jackpot. More than my mother. And it's just like...
But then didn't a lady come over to you and she was wearing the sweater that was your mother's sweater?
Oh.
That's another thing.
I've sat next to, I always talk to people next to me because I'm always networking. And I met two Elaines at my mom's name was Elaine. So I met, it's just like so many things that she comes shining through. Every time I talk about her or I give out a little pig, those people who I gave a pig to bought a house that weekend, by the way. And so I always feel like my mom is there.
The pigs.
Yeah, it is. It's totally the pigs.
So now something a little more serious I know happened to you. You know, as all of us who've ever lost a parent or someone very close to us, there's a lot of emotion, obviously, that comes after the death of that parent. But I know sometimes we have, you know, Steph's mom was sick for a while, so sometimes we think, did we do enough? Or, you know, did we do the right thing? We always doubt ourselves, right? That's a human condition. And I know after your mom had passed, you actually were cleaning out her room or looking for some things for the memorial.
I had something was nagging at me that my mom left me a message. There's something, I had major heartache. And like Georgia said, I was feeling like I could have done better. I could have had a little more patience. I was really beating myself up. But something was nagging me. And I said, she left me a message. And I looked through her room for something that she might have left me. It was a Saturday morning.
Okay, I'm just looking at the camera. I don't think I'm ignoring you.
No, what? Stop ignoring me. It's usual. And I said, there's something in the house that she wants me to read. So I left the house, and all day, I'm like, there's something there. So I went back into her bedroom, and I opened up one other drawer in the house, and inside was a poem she wrote to me, telling me that I did enough. It was such a love message to me to show that even though if we had arguments, that none of it really meant anything.
Right, like she knew, you know.
She really,
and
I needed to hear that.
You called me that day, and Stephanie read me the letter, and it was like her mom, even in her mom's own suffering, when she was in those final days, she knew that she needed to reach out to her daughter. And that's why I say love transcends all realms. And then since then, you get messages all the time and signs.
I'm so grateful that my friends are a part of it because they see it. I went to somewhere and a lady came over to me randomly and she said, Elaine Calinoff? And I said, no, what would make you, what would make you say that? She goes, I'm so sorry, you're her daughter. And it was someone that knew my mom from years ago. And she, I haven't seen this lady forever.
And that's what happens, though. It's almost like they're compelled from the energy of the other side.
It's just, and my friends are all sitting there like this. Did that just really happen? Oh my God. And it's always like that, oh my God moment. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm so grateful that the people that know me and love me have really been a part of that. Mm-hmm. Even the girl who bought my house, ironically, I had a few people come through and she came in with her parents and they had such a nice relationship that I said that I just felt like she was the right person to buy my home.
You got the vibe, yeah.
And to make a long story short, her and her mom's song was Sugar Sugar.
Which is so random.
So random. I mean, she was a young girl. She's like in her 20s.
Mm-hmm. But it was like confirmation, this is how it's supposed to be, Stephanie.
My mom said, she's the right one to buy your home. She made my life very easy by, the connection was so great. The story was so great between us that she told me that I gave her a little pig. She goes, you're not going to believe this. My mom calls me Piggy. You can't make that stuff up.
No, you can't make that stuff up.
You can't make it up.
And I remember one time, it was very, very soon after your mom's passing, you called our office. And when you called our office, the song Sugar Sugar was on the radio.
Yeah.
Like, no one ever hears that song, you know? And it's just like constant confirmation here. I'm here with you. I'm still loving you. And do you find that comforting?
You have to tell the story about the brush.
Okay. So you guys know who watch the show frequently. I get messages, and I'm a psychic medium. There you go. Oh, that's confirming it for us.
That's my father calling.
Yeah. So, I'm on the phone with Stephanie one day, and we were just having a talk, and it was not that long after your mom died. And like she said, whenever a parent passes, we go through that part of like, oh, did I do enough? And believe me, Stephanie was above and beyond exemplary daughter. And so we're just talking on the phone, and all of a sudden we were talking about her mom and this and that, and I said, Stephanie, why is she showing me a hairbrush, like in my clairvoyance? And I said, she's telling me something about her hair and showing me a hairbrush. I don't know what the heck that is about. And you told the story.
So the morning of my mom's funeral, I said to myself, she's telling me that bring the brush because they didn't do my hair right. And my mom was very particular how she combed her hair. It was like a little wing, like it had to be perfect. She sprayed it like, my family has a thing about hairspray. I don't know what it is, but
Aquanet.
Right. So I said to my brother, we have to check mommy because I think she's telling me they did her hair wrong. We have a very sick sense of humor, our family. So we opened up the casket, and my brother goes to me, who is that? Because it did not look like my mother. And we were so grateful it didn't, but her hair was wrong. So I had to take the brush, they sprayed the hair like a whole can of hairspray, but I still took care of it the way she would have wanted it. And my brother kept saying, that's not mommy. But I said, all right, I'm making her happy anyway. But Georgia, that you knew.
Yeah, well, that's how my clairvoyance works. Like sometimes I don't, and I've learned, I actually just did a reading, if John Minette is watching, I did a reading for John last week. And one of a mutual person that we know had passed that was very close to him. And during the whole time I'm doing actually an astrology reading with him, she kept showing me, Peanuts, Charlie Brown and the little redheaded girl, Sally.
Right.
I still don't know. I have to call John and now find out what it meant. But the whole time it was bothering me. And I'm like, now in the beginning when I first used to read, it was like, well, I'm not going to say it because it's so weird. It's too random. Now I just say it because I've come to understand that, like with the hairbrush, like I have no idea what it is, but they're showing me that for confirmation as a comfort or a healing for the other person. So now I just say it, and there's like a knowingness that you just know, okay, I'm just supposed to say this.
Right.
So I'm very grateful that Spirit allows me to have, come through with those things. It's not me, it's Spirit coming through.
Oh, it's you.
But no, I can't take credit for that. That's God.
Oh.
But yeah, it was just, and you always know when it's true. And I think, like, I can even feel your mom right now. Like, she's right. She's loving all this.
Oh my God.
She's just loving all this. She's like, we have to come next week,
Yeah, let me just tell you one thing. I'm so grateful that you gave me an opportunity to do this.
I love you.
I know that, and our friendship
And you got the best stories.
But truly, I'm so happy to keep continuing to share my mom with everyone. And no matter where I am, I get in something about her because I really feel like she's with me, and I don't want to ever feel
she is with you.
I have a lot of people say that they never get signs from their loved ones, and I think I've always been open to it. I really feel like I've had, even with my dad with business,
and that's the key. Because people will come and they'll say sometimes, even just friends, they've lost someone, and they'll say to me, well, Georgia, why aren't I getting signs? Or why aren't I getting a message? And I think sometimes, like in our own grief, we don't consciously block that, but in our own grief, we're so hooked on the person here that we don't really understand, and we're not open to them being someplace else.
Right.
And it's very hard. I know when my mom and dad died, my biggest thing, and I'm sure yours too, was just the feeling like they're not on the earth anymore. Like this person isn't on earth. I can't touch them. My mom's been gone now over 15 years, and I still have a coat of hers in my closet. There's certain things you just are attached to.
I'm never getting rid of the brush, trust me. But I said to Georgia before I came here, I talked to my mom all day long. I'm sure people think I'm a weirdo,
important.
but
no, I think that's important. It keeps their love alive too.
Yeah, and so I said to George, I know what I'm going to wear. My mom told me. Like, most people think that's weird, but I knew, she liked this sweater on me. So I said, I'm going to wear it.
Makes her happy. Yeah.
She would be happy.
It's like honoring her, also. Like, I know, like, my dad and I had, an up and down relationship throughout my life. And I always say, and it's the truth, people think I'm making a joke, but like I have a better relationship now with my dad from the other side, because I can feel his approval and I can feel certain things. And it's much better than when he was here. Because he's a little hypercritical at times. But you will feel them. It's just you have to open to it. And I also think sometimes people that don't feel like they're getting the signs, they don't feel like they're getting the messages, some people chase it. You know, like I call it bargaining. Like you'll be like, okay, if I'm supposed to do this, show me a sign.
Right.
You know, and that's not a sign, that's bargaining.
Right.
So like you just have to like allow it to be surrendered to it and allow it to flow, you know?
It's funny. My mom had a little poker machine, ironically. So sometimes I'll pick it up and I'll be like, Mom, do you think I should do this? And if I have a winning hand, all right, thank you for the answer.
So you're bargaining.
I bargain every now
working.
and then. It does work.
So Sarah is saying in the comments, in my most, I'm sorry I'm bending over, guys. I don't have my glasses. Whoops, it just went away. Put that back,
Sarah,
Carmine.
come back.
There you go. Sarah said in my last reading with you, you asked me if I baked or cooked a lot because you saw something in the kitchen, something.
Do you want my glasses?
Can
No.
you, something he liked in the kitchen that I didn't, that I did. I don't bake or cook, but I finally figured it out. I use his old Kentucky Wildcats basketball coffee mug all the time. It's my favorite mug. She's talking about her dad. Yeah, so when I gave a reading for Sarah Johnson, I said, your dad's like presence is in the kitchen. There's something in the kitchen, like with cooking or something that your dad is like showing me. But I couldn't get it clearly, and she's saying that she drinks out of his old Kentucky Wildcat mug every day.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so it's just like, and it's very interesting. Michelle is saying she was extremely close. Oh, I have it on my screen. Thank you, Carmine. And my other one about Michelle Allen Older, if you want to put that on my screen for me, that'd be awesome. My beautiful, beautiful assistant, Carmine, I love you to death. So Michelle Allen is saying that she was extremely close with her mother, and she lost her 3 years ago, and she has such a strong connection with her in the heavenly life. I couldn't talk for hours about all the ways she communicates with me, and I could talk for hours about all the ways she communicates me and how I know her presence is always right next to me.
That's amazing.
It is. You know, I'll just tell a quick story and then we'll go back to you. My dad, as I said, was always like a very up and down relationship, and, you know, strict Italian dad. And so when he passed over, my dad used to scratch off lotto, right? Like you're talking about Elaine and the gambling. And so, he would literally, on the last days of his life, be practically in a coma, and we'd bring him lotto tickets, and he'd sit up in bed and scratch lottos off, like the last thing he ever did in his life. So I had gotten a chain letter from one of the neighbors was sending like a chain letter out with like lotto tickets, and he was supposed to go and buy 10 more and send them. It was like some kind of a chain thing. And because I was grieving him, and he had just passed a couple of days before, and he passed a couple of weeks before, and I was like, I can't be bothered with this. So I took the lotto tickets and I just threw them in the garbage because I'm like, I'm not doing this stupid, crazy chain letter thing. And I threw them in the garbage. I kid you not. I'm sitting at my desk. I threw them in the garbage pail underneath in my home office. And I had a shadow box on one of the walls with all my dad's medals from the wars. He was in World War II and Korea. And I just threw them in the garbage, thought nothing of it, was typing on my computer. All of a sudden, the shadow box on the wall flew across the room. Like literally my hair was like this. My husband at the time comes running in. And he's like, what happened? And I'm like, I don't know, I think my dad's here. And he goes and looks at the shadow box. Nothing is like broken off the back. He looks at the wall, the nail's still there. I mean, like it could not have flown across the room. Well, long story short, I was going to John Edwards that night. So I said to my husband, my ex-husband now, I said, I'm going to get picked. And he's like, Georgia, there's going to be 3,000 people there. You're not going to get picked for John Edwards. I'm like, nope, my dad's coming through. He just showed me, and you better get those lotto tickets out of the garbage. So lotto tickets never won, but that night I went, and John Edwards, he picked me out of the audience. And I was like up in the nosebleed seats. And I remember because he's reading this lady, and it was just this feeling that I'm sure you guys who get communication just get, whether it's like the pigs or whatever it is, you just know it, you have a knowingness. You know that's what it is. So I'm sitting up in the nosebleed seats thinking, well, I don't really care what he does because I know he's picking me.
Right.
I just knew it. So he was like on the other end of the arena reading this lady, and then he literally did like a 360 around the whole thing and just said, the girl up in the top seat in the red shirt. And I'm like, I told you. And, he read me. And that was like one of the first experiences I had. And then from there starting to pursue psychic phenomena and things. But it was so powerful that thing fell across the room. It couldn't have happened any other way, like you finding the letter. It's like it has to be a connection from beyond.
Every day there's something really that I feel is just a reminder.
Yeah.
She had to be a part. She didn't have to be. she chose to be, and I chose to have her be a huge part of my whole life.
Right. And I think that's your way of honoring her and saying, my mom is passed, but her spirit is alive.
Yeah.
You know, and when we talk about them, we keep them alive. I often tell people who have someone who passes and, you know, maybe they have a grandchild who's not going to know that grandparent. I always say keep photos like in frames or in some place in the house or whatever, because
I keep pigs.
yeah, like your pigs, because you want that reminder for people who don't even know that spirit. Like I have grandparents that I never knew, and I couldn't tell you anything about them, you know? So it's very important, I think, to keep the spirit alive and honor death in that way. And you're fine.
I'm sorry.
I think that was Joe.
It was Joe. Hey, Joe,
and,
I'm on the show.
And so I always say, like, when someone dies, like, don't close the box. You know, when someone dies, like, keep them in your life, because we have to honor them and make their life worth something, you know? We have Leslie on. We've got Sarah on. We've got a lot of people on tonight. This is great. Yeah.
I can't see who's on, but hi.
Patty Schrick is on. You've got a lot of people on. And then not everyone is in the comments.
Leslie,
so we've got other people
I can see
on
Leslie's
as well.
name.
Yeah. So now your dad's name was Lenny.
Yes.
And when I gave you directions today, because I really, you know, I don't remember everyone's names. And so when I gave you directions today, I was like, well, you turn right by Leonard's Pizza. And she's like, that's my dad.
Absolutely. I have a great story about my dad. He owned an auto parts store in Smithtown.
I didn't know that.
And he closed up shop. He took sick and then ended up working for a company at 75 years old. He was Salesman of the Year of all of Napa Auto Parts.
See, it runs in the blood.
It definitely does.
Salesman, you're a great salesman.
And I got a call from a young lady that she wants to rent a house. And I said to her, did you ever get qualified? Maybe you could buy a house. And she said, I never did. Ends up that she was eligible to buy a house.
Okay.
And at the engineer's report, we were starting to talk. She said that she works for a tutor time in Smithtown. I said, oh, where? And she said, 1161 Terry Road. That was my father's store.
Oh, wow.
And truly, like, for the past 20 years, I've had so many stories with business
with
situations
Lenny's there.
that my father was. I always said my dad is a part
proud
of this.
of you.
And now I have two people. They're fighting on who's going to give me the best opportunities. So
yeah, there you go.
I'm one lucky girl.
You are.
Right?
Yeah. So Lenny's the business guy, and Mama C's got the gambling covered.
Well, Mom was
so you're
business
pretty,
too.
Yeah, Stephanie's mom was a realtor, so she kind of like inherited all the tricks of the trade.
Yeah, she just said, don't forget about how good she was at real estate.
No, she probably did.
I'm
I know
sorry
she
about
did.
that. She's right here.
People are going to call you for a reading. No, she has been standing here the whole time,
Really?
I have to tell you.
Oh. Does she like my sweater?
She wanted you to fix her hair for the camera now.
My mother would be very upset if my hair didn't look good on here.
I'm sorry I made a joke about your hair. It's okay. We're just fooling around. Not really. But
I see her right here, though. So crazy. Sometimes
it's
I do feel
about the plasma.
I do feel like sometimes I do like get a glimpse. Is that possible? Like
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Talk about plasma. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I could tell you so many stories of things like it's real. And I also wanted to just say also, because I know that when things start to happen, we question and we start to think, well, is that real? Is this is possible? Absolutely, yes. And whenever people come to me, because, you know, sometimes people will come to you for a reading or for an astrology reading or whatever, and they're like, well, I don't really know if I believe in this stuff. And I always say, you don't know if you believe in this stuff yet.
Right.
Because you're about to. So always keep an open mind and make sure that you're really in a place where this is all coming about. So now, I know you have a brother, Michael, right? And does Michael also feel like spirit? Does he get like messages, or not as much as you?
Not that he's ever. No.
And what does he think about this?
No, when things happen, he's very supportive. I mean, he doesn't think it's not.
Because you guys are close.
Yeah, but I don't know that anything specific happens to him. I mean, he's a big believer of the pigs, and you know, like, but nothing. I don't know that he's as in tune to it. But my mom and I were really. I always said I thought my mother was a witch. I thought really because things that just came to her.
Well, when you told me you were at Jake's 58 one night, and some woman came up to you, and she had on your mom's sweater, and it was like a very unique sweater. I'm like, that's your mom, like pulling that stuff.
100%. She totally is.
Tell the story about that, because it was like this weird purple.
Yeah, my mom, I actually wear it. It's a stripe.
You wear it.
I do, because, like, I feel like wearing her things bring me closer
Brings
to
you
her.
close. Yes, I get that. That's my mom's coat in my closet in
Right.
the hallway. Yeah.
So, my mom loved shopping, and unfortunately she couldn't. Right, but at some point she couldn't go into Macy's and do the shopping herself.
Right.
So I do FaceTime with her.
Oh, in the store you.
Yeah, and she'd like back up. I got So we had this whole thing going on, and I am at the casino, and it's a very specific striped shirt. It's like black and pink and green. It doesn't sound pretty, but it's pretty nice. It was like, oh, that sounds beautiful. But the lady next to me was wearing this shirt. I go, oh my God, that's my mom. Like she was sitting right next to me. It was really crazy. And then recently,
But didn't she have the same name or something as your mom?
No, there were two Elaines that had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, two ladies. Actually, the one lady, Elaine, we got to talking and actually did a CMA for her.
Oh, see?
I actually network at Jake's. I'm not just.
She does.
I'm not just a gambler.
She does not really gamble. She just goes out to give out her business cards.
I really do.
Have
My
some drinks.
friends know. I've gotten a lot of business from Jake's. So there.
I'm going to go there.
My mom was my best promoter there. She'd be sitting at the machine and she'd be like, where do you live? And they're like, Medford. Oh, my daughter just sold a house in Medford. So now I have to do my own networking.
She had the shtick.
Exactly.
Elaine, you had the shtick. So I'm going to pull some cards. Let's see if Elaine comes through.
Oh, God. One could only hope.
I'm going to have you actually shuffle these and then cut the deck 3 times. We're doing a live reading on the Soul Space. This is the first.
Do this.
I never do live readings on the Soul Space. I do readings like astrology, but I don't.
This is fun.
It is
I'm
going to
come
be
every
fun.
week.
Look, the little piggies are coming in.
All right, now.
I'm just having such
what
a
am I doing?
Good time tonight. Cut them 3 times.
Like
3
this?
piles, yeah. Then put
All
them
right.
back however you think you should do them. Put your energy in there, kid.
Oh, God.
I always, every show is a little bit stressful because you have to be on the camera for 55 minutes or so. I'm so enjoying this show because, hey, the weight's off me. Okay, so let's see what Elaine has coming through.
All right,
tonight.
Mama.
All
What do you
right.
got for me tonight?
So the first card I picked.
I'm going to make a lot of money.
When is your mother's birthday?
December 25th, Christmas.
Well, we just got the Queen of Wands, baby.
Oh, my God.
Tell me this doesn't look like Elaine.
Oh, my God. Is that you, Ma?
It's Mom.
I love it.
So the Queen of Wands is a fiery female. I'm going to put it on camera there. I'm looking at the pigs. I love it. I love it. Is a fiery female, someone who is like, I hate to use the word on camera, but I can because I took my show off public access. She's a boss bitch.
That she was.
Yeah, and so usually when the Queen of Wands comes in, it's somebody who's like very, in charge, forceful energy. Next card is going to be the Tower card. So the Tower card in Tarot is a card where it shows that things fall apart, like when things are falling away. And you went through that last year after your mom's death. You sold your co-op, you did so many things. So this is just confirmation of that time. But when the Tower happens in our life, it isn't in order to make everything fall away to hurt us. It's so that we have a space to put new things in. So this is Mom showing you that, Stephanie, you were supposed to let go of those things and you're supposed to live your life now.
It's true. I've changed. My whole life has changed, and things are a whole new way.
So now, what was your mom's lucky numbers? Was it 16 or 16 that adds up to 7?
No, well, she had a number 803 was.
Oh, right. You said
yeah,
a long time ago. You told me that. Yeah.
She had, 17 actually was one of her lucky numbers.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Why is there something 17 on here?
No, it's a 16.
Oh, darn it.
But it adds up to 7. That's why I was asking.
Right.
Like lucky 7. But I think this is her showing us that all the things that fell away, they were supposed to fall away to release you to be into this new life. And I think that's her showing us that she's very proud of you. Next card is actually the 10 of Pentacles. So what were you just asking me? If you were going to come into money or win?
Right.
Yeah. The 10 of Pentacles is all about the coin. Look at all the coin on that card. This is her showing you, and 10 is a lucky number for auspicious number. So this is her showing you that, yes, you do have a windfall coming to you. So you're getting money, baby. Elaine's working those machines. After this show, we're going to the pig machine.
Hell yeah.
Aha.
Oh.
And this card is in reverse, which means that it's either happening now or has already happened. It's already started, and that is
I met my husband?
the Fool card, which means you're going on a journey. And this is her telling you, take the leap of faith, believe in the unseen. That whatever is in the back of your mind that you want to do and that you're unsure about doing, take that leap of faith. And I can tell by your face that there's something there. So she's saying, you've already been through the worst. Everything that fell away has already fallen away. There's good luck and abundance coming to you, so take that leap of faith.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful reading. And Stephanie, have you been, I know like you do like to go out and you're very social, but have you been staying in the house too much?
I feel like I have taken some time for myself, yeah.
Because this card is the Hermit.
Yeah.
And I believe what she's asking of you in this card was saying she is acknowledging all of the time that you gave up when you were by her bedside and when you were taking care of her. So she's showing me that that time is over and that you need to be in the light. But also the Hermit card is showing me that that time that you did spend, and when you do take time for introspection, that's very important because that's where your wisdom is coming from. If you didn't have those times with her, you wouldn't have the wisdom you have and the compassion that you have. So she's actually saying she's grateful and thankful for that time. And then this is the last card I'm going to pull to confirm the reading. And this is the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords is a card of winning. It's like you've battled your opponents, you've battled the hard times, you've battled the challenges. And if you look at this card, you'll see it's the man with the sword and the enemies or the things that where the challenges have dropped their swords and are walking away. Wow. So this is you being empowered to handle all obstacles against all odds. And that's what she's showing you. And I feel like she's coming through now. She loves the pigs. And I feel like she's almost like, I feel like in life, and you know I didn't really know her, but in life I feel like she wasn't very affectionate, but for some reason she's coming in and it's almost as though she's stepping through like fog in order to be affectionate. Like she had to step through that part of herself to be physically affectionate. And she's like hugging you and she's so proud of you. And she's saying at times she even doubted if you would be okay, but as soon as she passed, she knew you would be.
It makes me emotional because...
Don't worry about it. You're good. You're so good. I know, honey. I know how it is.
I know that.
But let it go. And don't hold it in either, because like when we process those emotions, that's when we really heal from the grief.
She made me cry.
Aw. No, but that's how I feel. That's the message that she's giving. And it's very honest that she's coming through and saying, there were times in this earth when I doubted and worried, but as soon as I passed, I had no worry for you.
I think that's what made her go at peace, because the love and affection that people showed us.
Yeah.
That last year when I broke my arm and she was sick, the people that came through, she went at peace knowing that
you had friends and family around you,
and
surrounding you. Yeah, that's important.
She hung, easy for me to say, hung on for so long through all her sicknesses to make sure I was okay.
Oh, see that? And
now,
then when she got that confirmation, she crossed
got the confirmation, yep.
You know, I always say, and I can talk from my own experience, my own lived experience, like we have so much worry and anxiety for that person who is going through that last time in their life. And we worry about ourselves too. And then after they're gone, and like, it's almost like a relief in some ways, but it's also like the end of one time and beginning of another. It's like, well, before it happens, we just see everything all at once, but it doesn't feel like that once it happens. It's like a new day, and I think sometimes you can feel guilty for that. But I think that's the natural order of how we're really supposed to feel.
Right.
Because it's a clearing. It's a clearing. And it's them, like, I think of death now as, I don't even call it death. I actually call it transformation. Because I feel like the body just transforms to another place, you know. But that spirit and that soul lives on, and that's why they can communicate with us. Because even though it's another realm, the soul that was here is there. The soul never dies. So I think her coming through and saying those things, Stephanie, she's more proud of you now than she could have ever possibly been in life, and she was proud of you then.
I hear that statement so much from people that have told me that that she's so proud. I have another friend who has And she keeps telling me, Stephanie, your mom comes through to me, my friend Sharon, and she said, your mom comes through to me all the time. She's so proud of you. She's so proud of you. She didn't know my mom either, but she said, that's all she hears.
And I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like we all have the power to do this. Like, we all have the power to feel that person, get those messages, get those signs. And again, when people say they're not getting them, it's like you just have to be in the quiet, you know? You don't have to go to a psychic to communicate with someone who's passed. I believe we all have the ability to do it. We really do.
I went to see Teresa Caputo.
Oh, yeah, how'd that work out?
I didn't get chosen. And I said to my friend Tammy, I said, I'm okay with that. My mom comes through all the time.
And someone else probably needed that.
Someone else needed it more than I did.
Yeah.
And that was one of my mom's favorite sayings.
Yeah.
If they won a jackpot, next to her, she said they needed it more than she did.
Well, she came from a place of abundance. You know, she didn't feel like she lost anything with that. And the other thing I want to say, and for all of you out there, when you are going, like I in the past have done gallery readings also, which is where you do a whole room and a whole audience. I've done those for charity. And I won't do them for profit. But when I do one-on-one readings. But when you go to see Teresa Caputo or John Edwards or someone who is, you know, one of the more well-known psychics, when you go into those arenas and they have like a couple of thousand people or a few hundred people there, one of the things that is really good to understand is it's a heavy energy, because there are people going there in grief, people are going in with, you know, pictures of children who have passed over, all kinds of things. So it's not like, you know, this ha-ha, funny, oh, let's do a girls' night thing. And I think somewhere we've lost the reverence for these type of environments, because people are really going there thinking, I'm desperately in need of this thing from beyond. And I think that we have to really understand that we have the power to speak to our loved ones, and especially if you have had someone that has passed and you feel something unresolved or grief or something, like in the beginning with your mom when you're like, did I do enough? You can talk to them. Yeah, I did yell you. But you can like talk to them. You know, like there was unresolved things with me and my dad, and I basically was just like, hey, you know, Dad, let's have a conversation. And I just was very quiet, and I closed every door and window in my house, and I went home and I sat there and I meditated and I had a conversation with my dad, you know, and we all have the ability to do that. So Celeste Lipsky says that she's late to the party, but that we're great. Cheryl says we're great together. Celeste is sending you love.
It's my girl, my high school friend.
Aw, that's so sweet. Yeah, she says we're really good together. High five me, bitch. High five me, bitch.
I love that. I love that.
So what else can we talk about? We've got about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to ask you,
Oh, God in heaven, what's she going to ask me?
No, it's okay. So, like, do you ever get warning signs from Mama C? Like, she says, don't do that, Steph.
Well, I will take a different path sometimes. Like, you know, I'm driving, and I'm like, why? I don't think I should go down that street for some reason.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I like get the feeling. Yeah. And I always like have to trust my intuition, because sometimes I'm like, is that anxiety or is it intuition? But trust your intuition, guys, and that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, is that like
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think that, well, I do not believe personally that people who cross over are our guardian angels. I know a lot of people think that, but I believe that the people who are passed over do watch out for us. A lot of times if I have to undergo a medical procedure or something, I know it sounds really funny, but I always, because I had an Italian father, I always say, Daddy, don't let them do anything to your little girl, you know? So like, they will protect you, I believe. I also, sometimes when I do readings, I see especially grandparents around children, you know, because they're just there with them. But I don't think they're angels, but I do think that they can kind of keep us safe.
What's the name of your angel? You told me your angel's name.
My angel is Althea.
Althea.
That's my guardian angel.
Yeah.
But I have all kinds of angels. I work in the violet light, you know that. Right. And Saint Germain is my main guide, Lord of the Seventh Ray. And yeah, so what was I just? Oh, somebody said mother and daughter relationships are so complicated, but they're the best, I think. You know, you can. I have a better relationship now with my parents that they're dead than I did when they were alive. True story.
I can't say the same.
But no, I had a very, good relationship with my mom and dad, but it's just like now they can't talk back. Yeah. No, they do that anyway. So anyway, you can find me here every Monday at 7 o'clock. We're going to have Stephanie on the show again.
I'm going to come back every week also.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to do a team show. We should do a real estate show. But I am here every Monday at 7 o'clock in the Soul Space. If you want to know more about my work, you can go on zenkuda.com, and you can even book a reading there. It's all set up with payment, and you book your time and everything. You can also find me on Zenkuda Soul Space on Facebook and Zenkuda Official on Instagram. And check out all of my sites. You'll be my YouTube channel, where my show is actually banked. And Trisha is on, and she says this is her first time listening to this podcast.
Trisha Halloran?
Yeah. Hey, Trish. First time listening to this podcast, and your mom was such an awesome woman, so she knew Elaine. I loved her, and I'm so sad I lost contact with you both. Hey, here we are, baby.
That's great.
That was a little Austin Powers. Baby. I had a 9-year-old nephew who used to imitate Austin Powers when he was a kid, and he'd be like, shagadelic, baby, and he sounded just like him. But anyway, I digress. So, so come back next Monday at 7 o'clock, and we're going to have another guest on talking about their messages from beyond. You can come too. I love having you. And this whole month is dedicated to Love is Eternal, and we're going to have a lot of people on telling us stories from the beyond. If you want to be on the show, PM me, Facebook, Zenkuda Soul Space.
PM or DM?
Whatever. Private message, no? No. What's a PM?
I don't know.
I got to look that up in my urban slang dictionary.
It's a DM, I believe.
It's a DM. You can just slide into my DMs. I might swipe left, but no, I'll keep you there.
At night.
And I didn't say AM. See, we are comedians, and I know Chris, the comedian, who's going to be on next with Tea Time with Teresa, is in the green room. He's really cool. You got to see his colors on his arm. Really cool. Sexy guy. Anyway, he's going to be on with Teresa Tea Time next, and he's a comedian, and he is going to give Steph and I lessons on how we can become comedians.
I have to say one thing.
Go ahead.
Because
She's got to get the last word.
I do. I just have to say hello to the rats because it was a mission. I had to complete a mission tonight.
Who's the rats?
Some friends of mine. We call ourselves the Rats.
Oh, the Rat Pack.
Ricardo's in there too, so
okay.
Ricardo.
Hey, rats. Bye, Ricardo. We'll see you next week, 7 o'clock. Next is Tea Time. Stay tuned. Bye.